Welcome to Maths for All. I'm Aisling Flynn. This is Rational Numbers 2.1 Decimal Numbers. In the following videos, we see how decimals represent part of a whole number, how they can be used instead of fractions, how they are equivalent to fractions, and how to operate with them.
What is half of 16? Well, we'll do this first by doing a fraction approach. Okay, fractions. We've done this before. A half of, if you like, 16 over 1 is equal to top by top, which is 16, bottom by bottom, which is 2, and 16 divided by 2 is 8. We know that half of 16 is 8. Okay, now we're going to examine now a decimal method of that, and we're going to look at the fraction 1/2 and how it can be written as a decimal. So 1/2 literally means 1 divided by 2. Okay, I can do that by hand. Divide the number 1 by 2. Say 2 into 1 doesn't go, so I have to go past my decimal point, so it doesn't go, and 2 into 10 goes 5 times. So we can see that 1/2 equals 0.5. Okay, now how might I have used the 0.5 instead to get the answer 8? Well, simply you say 0.5 of 16 equals. Now you can do multiplication by hand for this, or we can use our calculator. So 0.5 of, we use multiply, 16 equals, and we see our answer 8. Incidentally, you can also use your calculator, if you've one like this, to convert fractions into decimals very easily. Okay, this button here, something over something, is what I call the fraction button, and I can type in 1, and we use this as our cursor to go up, down, left and right. 1 over 2. If I just press equals, you see here's a half. But if I use this change button, third to decimal, D here is for decimal, it changes a half to 0.5 for me. It's a very useful button. Okay, so keep an eye on that one. What is 1/4 of 20? Okay, well, straight away I know that the answer is 5, yes, but now we just want to practice using decimals. So how to get 1/4 as a decimal? Well, you can do it by hand. 4 into 1, 1 divided by 4. 4 into 1 does not go, so we go into the decimal places. 4 into 10 goes 2 times, but there's 2 remaining, so I need to go one more space. 4 into 20 goes 5 times, so 1/4 equals 0.25 in decimal. Okay, again, I can use my calculator instead if I wish. Okay, I can use the fraction button and type in 1 over 4, press equals, and change it to decimal. This D here is for decimal, and I get 0.25. Okay, or I can do 1 divided by 4. Again, it gives me 1/4, change to decimal. Alright, now how do I get 1/4 of 20 using decimal? 0.25 by 20. So 1/4 of 20. 0.25 by 20. And the answer is, as I expected, 5. What is 3/8 of 96? Okay, so we can do it by fractions. we would do 3/8 of 96. We would divide the 96 by the 8 and we'd multiply by 3. Okay, let's see what that gives me. 96 divided by 8 times 3, 36. Now just to show you the equivalent decimal, 3/8 equals, and using your change button, 0.375. So 3/8 is the same as 0.375. Just to check that, we're going to multiply it by 96 and see do we get the same answer. So 0.375 by 96, and I get answer 36. One third. What is 1/3 in decimal? So if we try on our to use division, we'll do 1 divided by 3. Okay, 3 into 1 doesn't go, it's too big, so I'm going into my decimal places. 3 into 10 goes 3 times. 3 3s are 9, but there's 1 left over, so I'm continuing to the decimal places. 3 into this 10 again goes 3 times with 1 left over. 3 into this 10 goes 3 times, 1 left over, and it's going to go on and on forever. Okay, so this is repeating. Okay, and it can't really use decimals accurately for 1/3 because we will have to stop someplace. Okay, let's see that on the calculator. 1 over 3 is equal to, now here's a third. When I use the change button, if you look very, very closely, there's a tiny dot over the 3. Okay, the calculator says that 1/3 equals 0.3 with a dot on it. Okay, and this dot signifies that the 3 is repeated again and again and again, just like here, 0.333, and it repeats. Other fractions like that would be 1/6. Okay, 1 over 6 equals, and change it to decimal, we get 0.16 dot 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 16 dot, which is more or less equal to 0.166666, and if you're to ever stop, you must round off the last digit to 7. So it's not the perfect answer. So 1/6 is only approximately equal to this number here. Okay. So when we looked at natural numbers, we looked at the bigger side
this next
numbers,
video
units, tens,
looks
hundreds,
at how you would change decimals back to fractions, so the reverse.
And to the right of the decimal place, the first one is tenths, second one hundredths, thousandths, and that should read 10,000s. There's no room for it. Okay, so let's change some well-known decimals back into fractions. So we're going to start with 0.5. So we'll look, here's our point. So if I was to write it into this place value, I have 0.5. And you can see that I have 5 in the tenths place. Okay, so 5 happens to be in the tenths place, so I can say 0.5 is the same as 5 tenths, or 5 over 10. Okay, and when I use my fractions know-how, I can simplify this. 5 is common to top and bottom. It goes into 5 once and into 10 twice. So 0.5 is equal to a half. We know that. Okay. Let's repeat that now with 0.25. Okay, 0.25. So let's fill it in to the place values, 0.25. Okay, So we have 2 in the tenths and 5 in the hundredths. So the hundredths is as far as we go. We can say 2 tenths and 5 hundredths, or combine them, you can say you have 25 hundredths. So you're looking at the last one where you were. Okay, so 0.25 is equal to 25 over 100, 25 hundredths. Simplifying, 25 is common to the top and bottom. Divide 25 into itself, you get once, and into 100 you get 4 times. So 0.25 is equal to a quarter. Okay, and we'll do one more. 0.325. Okay, I'll just move this. So 0.325 equals, so we look to the last digit, you've reached into the thousandths, so you have 325 thousandths. And now we need to simplify, okay, and this might take a couple of steps. Okay, firstly I think that 25 is probably common. Okay, I can divide that into top and bottom, or another useful thing you can use your calculator for is type in 325 over 1000 and it will simplify for you. Okay, 13 over 40. Okay, it would have taken me a little while to get to that.
Okay, so to recap, converting from one to the other, if you're going from fractions to decimals, divide the numerator by the denominator and you'll get the equivalent decimal. If you're going from decimals to fractions, as we've just seen, use the place values for tenths, hundredths, etc. to make a fraction and then simplify. Okay, now that's time for you to do this. You can check your understanding using the quiz and practice what you've learned by doing your written exercises.